when we started doing the IRS Cobras, we switched to a coil-over package, and to do the coil-over package, we had to do different control arms because the shock on the stock control arms is mounted in single shear, and it's basically the back of the car was designed for just a shock absorber. And when you put a spring onto a coil-over on the shock, then all of a sudden you're putting all the loads from spring and shock through the one pin on the lower control arm, which I didn't like. I like double shear, and then at the top puts a lot of load on the top. And right away, what we did is we did a rear shock tower brace to kind of stabilize the back of the car. And this is why. This is these are from Ben at the academy. He sent these in that he saw. This is when coil-over package just completely tore the shock mount right off the chassis, right off the body. When you put, like I say, you're putting all that load into something that wasn't designed for it, which is why we did the 3-point rear shock tower brace. Now you always hear me talk about triangles, triangles, triangles. So what we've done is this actually has a bunch of triangles, even though it's a straight across the top. It dips down, it touches in the middle. So we've got a attachment point in the middle, and then a triangle here, and then if you look between here and here is a triangle, here to here is a triangle. So there's triangles everywhere to stiffen out the back. It does an amazingly good job. Okay. I'm pushing buttons here in case you wondering what I'm doing. I'm back. So this is, here's what they kind of look like in person. It goes on where the shock comes through the body right there, and then we have 2 bolts to hold it in place, another bolt in the middle to kind of hold it down, and then again on the other side, the same thing. We've got these two bolts mount through here, and then the shock goes through there. And for some reason, a whole bunch of these went out this week. Somebody must be talking about it somewhere, but it's a really nice piece. And you actually feel that in S197, SN95. Now, I know you're going to ask, what about S197? Okay, here's the deal. Oh, also in Fox, you can make the SN95 rear shock tower brace fit in most Fox chassis. What we find, because the production tolerances are like a foot, that in some cars it fits perfect. Some cars it's not long enough. Other times it's too long and tight. So for those instances, what we tell people, if it's tight, well, first of all, you have to scrape all the caulking out, and then sometimes that they're like just a little bit tight. Sometimes a great big hammer, BFS, big hammer, to kind of make enough room to drop in. The ones that there's gap, either they can make a plate, or we would send them plates to make up the gap. So you can use them in a Fox and SN95. Now, probably you're saying, what about an S197? Well, the chassis are designed so much stronger in the S197. The rear shock tower brace is not mandatory, but it's kind of nice. However, we built them for a while a few years ago, and we ran into the same problem that we did with the Fox cars. I mean, they would fit perfect on some cars, and some cars that were too tight, and some cars that were too loose. So we actually stopped making them because there was more cars that were loose or tight than cars that fit perfect. So I've got a prototype that's been sitting around for months and months, but because of other projects in line, we haven't got to it yet. But what we've done is we've kind of cured that. And we are on the shock tower on that end, and a shock tower on that end. And of course, we got our extra little bolt in the middle. What we're doing is we're putting a turnbuckle so that you can actually adjust the length of the rear shock tower brace so that, there we go, so that, it's going to fit the car perfect. That's the only solution we came up with.